Well, the first thing I want to say is that the phrase that you and Jerry shared with each other has become kind of my mantra, and that is, we're just molding it into place.
Yeah, always that. Oh, joyfully molding into place. We have the fun of our hands in the clay, yes.
And so my life has become less about what I desire in particular and more about the feeling of just moving along on the journey.
That's good, but the more you're able to hold that sort of detached appreciation for energy flowing, then those thoughts that begin occurring to you will become more and more and more specific. And the truth is, the more specific they come, the more fun it is for you. But if you try to be too specific before you're ready, then you sort of derail it. So general, and then the more the energy flows, the more specific it gets, the faster the energy flows. It's like being on the river. When it's wide, it's slow. But as it gets narrow, it gets faster. The more specific, the more adventurous and exhilarating the ride. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you my question. I've recently met two women, one whom I've entered into an intimate relationship and the other in a business relationship. Would you speak to the different emotional dynamics that you see in each?
Oh, we think you know.
And suggest adjustments that would help each flourish.
Well, the thing that we're really wanting you to hear is the ready to be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. And one of the things we really want to speak to this is that so often as humans, in wanting to partner up, because there is a dynamism in coupling, there is an exponential adding to energy when two of you are focused in similar ways. It's fun to be together in a mastermind sort of group where your resistance is non-existence and your focus is strong, because there is more of that momentum that we were talking about, and therefore more adventure and more sensation of accomplishment. But so often as humans, you want to find a person that satisfies all of the layers and all of the interests of your life experience. And that's what keeps you, for the most part, from having meaningful experiences, because you're wanting them all to be compiled in one person, rather than allowing the universe, who knows what you want and knows what the path of least resistance, your inner being and law of attraction have the capacity to bring you satisfaction relative to intimacy and relative to thought processes and relative to business enterprises. And it really is so much better if you don't ask for it all to come through one particular relationship. Do you follow? So if you're thinking of the satisfaction factor and you're finding satisfaction with different people for different reasons, that is really the ultimate experience that you intended as you decided to come forth into physical experience. Sometimes you have a wonderful relationship that is satisfying in so many ways, and it tends to get you off balance because you equate the success of satisfaction that you have found with that person. And then you're sort of doomed, because no one person has the responsibility or even the capacity to stay focused so precisely on what's important to you to keep your stream open and flowing. So we would encourage you to be clear about what your intentions are, and then look for satisfaction where you find it, and trust that this vortex that knows what you want will guide you to the specifics of all of it. It could be, it isn't, but it could be. It isn't, but it could be. It might be, but it isn't, but it might be. We're not teasing with you. We're feeling the vibration that you have around this. It is a possibility that your impulses will lead you to a specific relationship that would satisfy a myriad of intentions that you hold. But that puts so much responsibility on that person, and those relationships are almost always doomed from the start. It's like saying to someone, oh, you satisfy me in all of these ways, and I'm good with that, and don't let me down. Where if instead you present yourself authentically as a person who knows how to reach for thoughts and find satisfaction, so that you have a relationship with your inner being that is the reason that you feel so good so much of the time, and then you have a myriad of life experiences that reflects this alignment. That's how you meant for it to be. Can you feel how backwards it is? I need this relationship so that I can feel these ways, or I feel these ways and then I have these relationships. So you're asking us to help you choose between two really wonderful things that right now we would not choose between, because you're in the process of getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. And you're not going to like this, but we do. No one really likes this part, but we really do. While you would like getting ready to be ready to be ready to narrow it down to fewer choices so that you're more sure, we want it to widen to many, many more choices. Many more choices of interaction with many more others, because there's so much potential for satisfaction when you allow yourself to be free in the world, and when you literally mean, when you say to your vortex, I know there's a whole lot in there and I want to get tuned into it so that I can experience the best of all that I am. Just think about what you're bringing to the table, and don't worry about what anybody else is bringing. Focus on what you're bringing to the table and let law of attraction fill in the details, and then watch how much fun you have. Now, this answer was threatening to so many of you, because you want to just find one person and live happily ever after. And we are not discouraging that. We just think that you could be living much more happily ever after if you were broader in your relationships on different subjects. In other words, don't you want to play tennis with someone who can play? Don't drag that poor girl out there. She doesn't want to play tennis. Go find somebody that plays tennis and play tennis. And don't make her know what you know about business. And don't make her cook either. You get what we mean. You get what we mean?
I do.
Yeah. Something more?
Just a perception or tweak on where I am in my process of becoming clearer about my intention, and any suggestions about how to adjust it.
Well, we've been talking about it a lot recently, and we're encouraging a daily meditation where you really quiet your mind. Really quiet your mind. Focus on something until you feel that detachment. It only takes a few minutes, 15. Don't stay longer than that. But get to that detached state so that those thoughts can begin occurring to you. Because as those thoughts begin occurring to you, and then you let yourself follow the impulses of those thoughts and impulses, what happens is everything just gets richer and clearer to you. The fact that you're asking for our observation, or for our prediction, or even for our guidance, is an indication that you're not tuned into your own enough. We want you to get to the place where you say, Abraham, it's lovely to visit with you, and I'd like to talk to you about this and this and this, but I'm pretty sure of what I'm doing because I'm getting these impulses, and I trust my relationship with that vortex now. I have enough evidence of it, you see. So you're doing really well. You feel good most of the time. Lots of wonderful things are coming to you. You're thinking more than we want you to think. You're trying to think your way there. Just consider this idea. Consider the difference between a thought that you're thinking and a thought that you're receiving. And realize that step one is really the thinking of thoughts. I don't like that. That sucks. I don't like that. That's wrong. I don't like that. I'd really prefer that. You're thinking those thoughts. But when you're in the receiving mode, now you're receiving your inner being's synthesis, your inner being's understanding of where you are in relationship to what you want. And this clear guidance is being offered. And so don't try to evaluate the rightness or the wrongness of the thoughts that you're receiving. It's like so often, dear heart humans that you are, when you're in the receiving mode of source, you want thoughts to be what you have considered to be more spiritual in nature. Esther received a thought about moving furniture around, and she laughed as she came out of meditation, and she actually thought, maybe I should be working on world peace or something more important than moving furniture around. But the process led to a calling of a company and some nice people coming and conversation that led to something that was so meaningful for all of them. And at the beginning, Esther could not know where it was going. She just knew it felt good, so she followed it. But as it played out, it got so good, so really, really, really good, that she was out on the porch singing hallelujah to the universe for this wonderful thing that she really didn't see coming. And so it's like that. You reach this place where you don't need to think it all the way through. You don't need to be a really good chess player about everything, because your inner being is. Your inner being knows all of the logical moves and knows where all of the pieces are likely to lie and knows all the other players involved. And so if you can just capture from this moment a feeling of wanting to meditate often enough that you can get to that non-resistant place so that those thoughts can be received by you, and then you get to witness what happens. At this point, for many of you, these are just words and they don't mean anything. Esther's been saying to some people who are very near and dear to her, Abraham has really been encouraging us to meditate, and they still aren't doing it. And Esther wants to say, really, it will take the edge off of everything. It will give you a clarity. It will make you feel good so much of the time. All the bumps will smooth out of your life experience, and amazing things will begin to come into place for you. But until you have actually brought yourself to that quiet place, until you've been in the receiving mode so that something from the vortex is actually received in your mind and you know it, and until you've allowed that to become more and more and more, and you've witnessed the ongoing, fun-filled, meaningful evolution of the thought, then these are just words about something that you're probably not going to do. Because we know, most of you, and wouldn't you, rather focus upon some really meaty thing, this really negative, meaty thing that has a lot of momentum going. Wouldn't you rather just dive in and offer your opinion and comment and stake your claim than quiet your mind? Most would, because you think that there's more value in the momentum of thought than there is in the quieting of the mind. We're not asking you to choose between quieting of the mind and momentum of thought. We're asking you to choose quieting of the mind and then allow the momentum to build from source and from your vortex, rather than momentum to build from what you know of what you do not want. And there's a big difference. Esther's been asking herself a lot recently, as a strong thought will occur to her. A thought that's so strong that it feels like action is imminent. And she will stop and say, all right, Esther, did that thought come from this receiving mode? Was this a source-based, inner being-based thought? Or was it a knowing what I don't want-based thought? Because you're in the receiving mode of something all the time. Your radio's on and your tuner's set somewhere. And you know how you can tell the difference? If it feels free and fun and easy and clear and life-giving, it's coming from here. If it feels like you're fixing something, or you're making a point, or you're straightening something out, then often it's a different receiving mode than you really mean to be tuned into. So the answer to your question is in how you're feeling. And you know, mostly you're feeling very good. Yeah. Now you know why, and now you know what to do about it. Meditate. Something more?
Nope, that's it.
Really good.
Thank you.